So let's get rolling here. So once again, welcome everyone to the Clear Admit Essay Insight event series. Today we're going to talk about 5 different Masters in Management programs. Let me do some quick intros for our panelists. So first off, I'm Graham. I'm going to moderate today's session. I'm the co-founder of Clear Admit, and that's all you really need to know about me. So let's talk about our panelists, though. I just want to introduce everyone quickly. First up, we have Wynn Strugach, and she is the Associate Director for Student Recruitment and Admissions at Chicago Booth. Hey, Wynn, it's great to see you again.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us to learn more about our Master in Management programs.
We're also going to hear today from Grady Arno, who is a program director in the admissions office at Duke's Fuqua School of Business. Hey, Grady.
Hey, Graham. Thank you so much for having us. Excited to talk to everyone that's here today.
Yeah, it's nice to have you back. We're also going to hear from Mary Hall, who's Director of Graduate Admissions for the Specialized Masters domain over at Emory Goizueta. Hey, Mary, how are you?
Hi, Graham. I'm great. And hi to everybody else who's joining us today. I'm excited to talk to you all.
Excellent. We also are joined today by Danielle Ritchie. She is Director for Graduate Management Programs over at the Kelley School of Business at Indiana University. Hey, Danielle.
Hi, Graham. How's it going?
Doing well. It's great to
Good.
have you. Last but not least, we have Shoya Zhang, and she is a Senior Recruitment and Admissions Manager for Masters in Management. And what's GMIM stand for?
Global Masters in Management.
Global Masters. Okay, so you have 2. All right, at London Business School. So welcome, Shoya. It's really great to have you joining us.
Thank you, Graham. I know I look quite different from the photo, but better in person.
Excellent. All right, so we're going to dive in. We have a bunch of questions that we're going to tackle at the outset. We'll just kind of go alphabetically by the name of our panelists' school, and we have some great questions. These are actually questions that we collect questions from the audience when we do these types of events, and so these are from our master list of great questions. So let's start with Wynn. Wynn, can you just give us a quick kind of overview of like what is a Master's in Management program and who is it for?
Yes, these programs are typically designed for early career advancers who didn't study business in their undergraduate degree and are looking to get those foundations and fundamentals before moving into their early career roles. So many of our programs are going to include core classes in finance, strategic management, entrepreneurship, as well as a variety of elective courses so that students can make sure that they're picking up the skill sets, the talents that they need, whether they have a background in economics, marketing, whether they've studied art or education, liberal arts. We want this program to be a bridge typically towards moving into some of those more business-oriented roles across different fields.
Okay, well said. Yeah. So I think that's a great and one of the things that is so appealing is this idea that these Masters of Management programs give you that flexibility to enter the workforce, even if, like you were saying, you studied art or education or liberal arts, et cetera. So the next question we have, I'm going to turn to Grady for. So Grady, just tell us a little bit about the curriculum. Like, what are the subjects that one would see in the core? And are there elective courses in the sort of back half of the degree, or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So what classes you'll be able to take, it's essentially almost like the first year of the MBA program where you're going to be taking classes in finance, marketing, strategy, operations, accounting. So you're getting all of those business courses, and it's designed for people with limited business knowledge or limited work experience. And that's where you're going to be able to get that knowledge in a fast manner. I think almost every program here is about a year long. So it goes pretty quickly, and you're going to be able to get all of those courses done in a quick manner so that you can then enter the workforce. The electives, it depends on the program. At Duke, we right now do not have any electives, but I think many of the schools here on the webinar do. So I would defer to them instead of me for that part of it. But electives are typically part of some of the programs here for sure.
Yeah, that's a great point you're making, and it does vary, as we'll probably hear as we go through today, in terms of what percentage of the curriculum might be elective. But again, these are 1 year, pretty fast-paced programs with a lot of core curriculum, so that makes sense. Next question we have is for Mary at Emory. Um, what do MIM grads usually do after they graduate when it comes to sort of career placements?
No, thanks. There's a lot of different options for our MIM graduates. One of the things that we always like to say is that it's a great place to build in your undergraduate passions and get business skills on top. So some students choose to find entry-level positions in a field that's interesting to them, maybe public health, something like that. But now they have the business skills to go out and have extra layers of talent that they can share with employers as they're recruiting. But in terms of specific positions, some of the students in our cohort right now are looking at consulting jobs, marketing positions, healthcare related type positions that they could get into. One student in particular, the World Cup will be here in Atlanta, and he's very interested in events marketing. So that is a role he's seeking. So again, in terms of entry-level roles in a lot of different industries. But the other thing that we're seeing is that probably about 35% of our class is using our program as a gap year. And so they intend to go straight into a professional program after the program is completed. Some have been admitted to medical school, some are looking at dental school, some are looking at law school. So it does give you a variety of different skills to progress your career, whether you're going straight to the workforce or whether you have another goal in mind.
Yeah, and you've just put your finger on one of the reasons I love management education is that amazing flexibility. I mean, you can really do almost anything. And I said this, I think it was last week or at an earlier webinar, I talked about how if you go to law school, there's kind of one thing that you're going to be doing, right? You're going to become a lawyer in most instances. If you go to medical school, similar, right? Business school is just sort of the world is your oyster, and you can do so many different things, whether that's events marketing for the World Cup or consulting at, McKinsey or wherever, right? So lots of things are possible. Let's turn to Danielle at Kelley. Um, the question we have for you is, what are you looking for? I mean, you pick up an application. What are the characteristics of competitive applicants? Because I think some of the people on the call today and those tuning in, after the fact on YouTube are, they're imagine that they're a liberal arts grad. They're not someone who's like done every summer internship at Goldman Sachs or some like clear sort of pre-business pathway. So how are you assessing these individuals?
Yeah, that's a great question and one that we get asked quite often. We're really looking for candidates that are academic ready. So we'll look at their transcripts. They do have to come from a business background, but academic readiness is key. We're also looking for extracurriculars. We're candidates involved in organizations, whether they're professional organizations, social, fraternity, sorority, student athlete, because there's transferable skills that candidates will have, and that's what we're going to be looking for um, throughout their review process. The last thing is interpersonal skills, I think is key. You don't have to have that business background, as I mentioned, but you have to be able to articulate your story and do that well and authentically. So that's going to be key and what we look for in competitive candidates.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, the really good points. Let's turn to you, Shaya. How is the MIM degree viewed versus the MBA around the world? Because we hear a lot of people debating, oh, MBA or MIM, even though, typically they're happening at very different points in one's career. But I also thought since you're at London Business School, maybe you could even comment on how the degree is viewed, how these degrees are viewed in Europe.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Graham. That's indeed one of the most frequently asked questions from the candidates when they choose between programs. I would say essentially they serve different purposes and they serve different groups. So MIM is almost a pre-experienced MBA. It is a comprehensive business degree, give you a kickstart and knowledge in so many different areas like strategy, corporate finance, marketing, so on and so forth. But it is catered for that people who are at the start of their career. So they're either undergraduate students or just taking a gap year and looking to be recruited into a entry-level role. And the MBA is geared towards people who have between probably 5 to 7 years of experience. I think that's probably the average experience level of most MBA applicants. And then it's those people who are aiming at a either pivot from their current industry or a advancement into a mid to senior leadership roles. So I would say the format is usually different. At LBS, MIM is 1 year, MBA is 2 years, although our global master's in management is 2 years. So I think it depends on when you want to take that time out of your career and what kind of outcome do you expect. And said that, in Europe, I think both MIM and MBA are held at very high regards. I think MBA probably is more prominently recognized in the North America market, but in Europe, MIM is definitely really, really valued. As you can see from probably major rankings, Financial Times, so on and so forth, most of the top MIM rankings are filled with European schools. It is a very well recognized program, and a lot of employers actually see it as either prerequisite or a equivalent to a business undergraduate degree into recruiting people for their graduate roles. So I would say when you're asked this kind of question is really to ask yourself, what do you want and what works better for you at what time?
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I think that it's interesting that you're pointing out this distinction, and I do think that the European MBA programs tend to have a higher number of years of work experience in their population, which creates more of a contrast with MIM. But yeah, thanks for sort of explaining that. Let's now turn to the next segment of today's session. What we're going to do now is I want to have each of our panelists just kind of briefly take us through one aspect of the Master's in Management program at your school that you want to highlight for us. And then if you would also just give us one kind of tidbit about your admissions process, something, that is maybe unique to your admissions process or that you want candidates in our audience to be aware of.
Wow. Well, I think one of the things that is unique about the Chicago Booth's Master in Management program is how tailorable and flexible this program is. We offer 5 specialization areas in analytics, entrepreneurship, finance, marketing, and strategic management. These are guidance for some of the courses that students are recommended to take to go into roles within these areas. However, students can choose and combine multiple specialization areas. They can choose none of these specialization areas. So you're really going to work closely with our student affairs team, with your academic advisor, to make sure that you are designing the program, getting the skill sets, the network, the relationships that you need out of this program to move forward into those entry-level business roles. I think another thing that's kind of special with our program is that our Master in Management students are working with the same career development team as our MBA students. So they are really tuned into the market, to the needs of recruiters, what is being sought from these students. So they are incredibly talented at helping students to develop out your career goals, what kind of specializations and areas you want to go into, but then also pairing you up with the resources, whether those are external recruiters or part of our alumni population, who are going to help you improve your resume, your interview skills, so that you can find great career opportunities within those roles and organizations.
And so on the admission side, is there anything that you wanted to kind of highlight too?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine.
The admissions side, I think one unique thing is that we do have a video essay. So all applicants, if they are invited to interview, you will do that 20-minute virtual online interview with a member of our admissions team. And then you will also submit a 1-minute video essay to tell us a little bit more about how you changed and grown throughout your undergraduate experience. So holistic review, looking at every piece of your application, including your communication skills, soft skills that we are gleaning through the interview and that video essay.
Okay. So just to be clear, that video component happens only if you're invited to interview. So it's kind of a subset of the pool that make it to that round.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, excellent. Thanks for shedding light on that. Let's turn now to Grady at Duke Fuqua. Same assignment here, Grady. Just tell us a little bit about an aspect of the program that you want to highlight, and then something about the admissions process too.
All right, sounds great. So I think one thing that's great about programs at Duke and Fuqua are that you're on a team the entire time you're in the program. Since everyone's doing the program in lockstep, you're taking all the same classes at the same time as each other, you're going to be within teams for each of those courses. So you get 2 teams. Your first team is going to be from July to December, and then you get a new team January to May to finish out the program. So when you're in those teams, it's a really great environment to be able to feed off of each other, work together, understand each other's strengths and weaknesses, and have the opportunity to get to know each other, become great friends that will last a lifetime, but also challenge each other. So you might feel really comfortable with accounting while your other teammate might feel better in the operations area, and you can balance each other out as you go throughout the program. And having that opportunity to work together, hear what each other's career goals are. You might come in and say that you want to go into finance, and one of your teammates is really excited about going into consulting for a variety of reasons. You might hear those reasons and then decide that you want to switch your career goal, which is totally okay. And the Career Management Center will work with you to develop those skills that you get throughout the time in the program to be successful when it comes to your career. We do have a specific career team for the MMS program that works with you hands-on to make sure your resume is good. They have relationships with different companies that are looking for people with limited to no work experience and have a master's degree in management like you would have when you graduate with the MMS degree. So they'll work with you to tailor your experience to you specifically so that you come out successful. On the admissions front, one thing that a lot of our students come in and say that was one of their favorite parts, it's probably why one of the reasons they ended up at Fuqua, is the 25 random facts about themselves. It's 25 things about who you are, what makes you unique, and it's one of our essays. It's one of our 2 long-form essays that we require every student that comes into Fuqua to do, and it's a really fun experience. It's something that you'll be able to use not only to get into the program, but also to get to know your teammates, get to know when you get called on, when you're in your first career, give them one interesting fact about yourself. You'll already have a list of 25 that you can go to and pull from. So we hope that's a fun experience to go through that essay, and it's something that you'll definitely remember at least 10 of them for the rest of your life.
All right, we may dig into that a little bit more when we get into the essay segment too, because that is a unique essay question. Let's turn to Mary at Emory. Mary, tell us something that's unique about your master's program in management, and also, yeah, a little tidbit about the admissions process.
Sure. I think what's most unique about our program is that all of our cohorts for all of our specialized masters are really small by design. And that is really intended to create a really great environment where you really get to know your classmates well, have a really family kind of feel among your classmates, but also have tremendous relationships with your faculty, access to our career services, access to our alumni network. So it really is a really great environment. But probably one of the most important things about that is our program is highly customizable. Our program director, Anna Gibbons, works with all of our students to really gauge what their interests are and their passions are, and really what skills they want to be gaining. And that is how we really design our second semester, is really geared specifically to the interests of our students. Our first semester, our curriculum is pretty much set. It gives you those foundational MBA kind of skills. But our second semester is spent doing a variety of different electives. And these electives can be in our MBA program or in one of our other specialized masters. And they really are specific to the interest of the student that is choosing them. So that's one great thing. We also have really great experiential projects in the second semester with local companies, again, that are tailored to the interests and the industries that the students are interested in. So this allows them to put their skills that they've learned into practice, get some really great hands-on experience working directly with companies. Some companies actually are not local, and they fly the students out to get to meet their staff at headquarters. So really a great chance to have these skills that you can be talking about during your interviewing process. So I think that's probably what stands out is like the intimacy and the customization of our program. In terms of things that are unique about our application process, we do not require test scores. So that is something you don't need to worry about. You don't need to take a GRE or GMAT. We also do require a video essay. All students complete the video essay, but there is no interview. And the only other thing is, I think one of my other colleagues mentioned this, it really is a program that's designed for STEM and liberal arts majors, so that we do ask that if you're a business major or minor, that you consider another one of our specialized masters.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, and I'm hoping we'll get into that with each of you. If your program has, those types of kind of restrictions, or, you're looking for a certain type and you don't want sort of a straight up business undergrad, please feel free to say that as we go through here, because that's helpful for everyone to know. Let's turn to Danielle at Indiana. Kelley, same assignment, Danielle, something about the program and something about the admissions process.
Yeah. So I think one of the key things that stands out about our program is the practical experience. So in undergrad, it's all about memorization, or at the grad level, it's about application. So you're going to be applying things to real world scenarios. Our students have to take a core class in management consulting, and then there's 2 practicum experiences. Regardless if you're looking to go into consulting or not, it's going to give you the transferable skills, whether you're looking to go into finance, project management, or if you really are looking to go into consulting, it's going to give you the opportunity to work on your presentation skills. So we have a practicum in the fall as well as a practicum in the spring. One of the other things that I think stands out about our program is the amount of electives that students can take. So in the Master's in Management program at Kelley, students take 8 electives as part of the 1-year program, and they're immersed into a classroom with students from full-time MBA as well as other specialized masters. And that gives them an understanding of what it's like to work on different teams, people with different backgrounds and experiences. And so it really separates them. This whole master's degree separates it from what they experience as an undergrad student. I think the other thing of question was about admissions. One of the things that sticks out is the personalization of the application process. The faculty chair, as well as myself, is very involved. So we get to know candidates. It's not a gatekeeper by any means. We want to get to know you, make sure that this is a good fit. And we're going to ask you questions during the interview process. They're going to be more qualitative and experience-based than it is going to be quantitative focused. So that's really important to know, as that it is more behavioral.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Let's turn to LBS now. Shaya, how about something you want to highlight about the Master's Management program, and then something about the admissions process that stands out for you?
Thank you. Yeah, I've been just going through as others are going through. I'm like, okay, I will leave that point out. So can I have 1 point and probably 5 sub points, please, if I have time? I think a lot of the elements are similar. We are highly applied, highly experiential. We have a lot of practical elements. We go to global experience trip to 13 different locations to practice what you learn in a classroom. But what I really want to highlight is actually the community, the internationalism of the community. I know most of business schools are having diversity, globalness on their brochure, but at LBS is really what we are living and breathing for. So we meet candidates across the world. Actually, I've just been back from Istanbul, where a candidate asked me, oh, how do I fit into the community? What do I need to prepare? I've never been to UK before. And I always say, there's no worry. You don't need to fit in. You don't need to bend yourself. You just be you, and you will bond with each other. So that's kind of the vibe at London Business School. We are 95% international students, and everyone is really open, curious, high achieving, but really humble, nice and kind. And there is no in competition. You are put into study groups of 6 to 7 students every term, and they are all from different backgrounds and different nationalities as well. So it's almost diversity maximized. And then at LBS, we are a standalone business school, so we don't have any undergraduate degrees and so on and so forth. So you really bond so well within the whole LBS community, cross-program as well. And electives, you share the classroom with everyone from all different programs, including MBA, EMBA, Sloan Masters. You get mentored by MBAs and Masters in Finance students. And we have over 80 student clubs that you can build your bond and networks in either regional clubs, professional clubs, leisure clubs, and sports clubs. So your social life and community engagement will take at least a third of your time. And that's why people build the closest relationship, even comparing to any other study experience. So they really become friends for life. So I think that's really magical. Me, myself, I made some of my best friends from the alumni community, so I can definitely testify for that. In terms of the missions, I think what's unique about us is every candidate is hand-matched by a alumni interviewer who sign up and interview for us out of goodwill, absolutely on a voluntary basis, and because they care about the brand and community so much. And the priority they look for in a candidate is not how great this person is. Of course, they recognize that, but also, is this someone they can vision, they can see themselves working together in the same study group? Is this someone who they will be happy to meet in the alumni reunion dinner? So they really, really handpick everyone that comes to the community, and they embrace them and they welcome before they even start the program. So I think that kind of legacy passed on through generation really brings the whole community together. So everyone is interviewed by alumni, and after they graduate, they will turn into alumni interviewers as well. So the spirit lives on in that sense.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks for that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn to what I think is on a lot of people's mind, which is, the kind of written component of the application, specifically essays. I know that this is often, the hardest part, because taking a test, or if you require a test, or filling out forms is one thing, but sitting down and putting proverbial pen to paper is a challenge when you have to answer these sort of personal questions or come up with, explanations of your career plan, et cetera. So what I want to do now is we're going to, again, go through each of our esteemed panelists' essay questions. And what I thought we'd do to kind of keep ourselves on schedule here, because we're running a little bit long, but what I thought we'd do is I'm going to ask each panelist to just pick one of their essays, and we've got a slide here for each of you with your essay topics and things. So pick one, and just tell us, why does your team use this question, and like, what are you hoping to learn by asking it? So we'll go back to you, Win, at Chicago booth. Yeah, just pick one of these and let us know. Yeah, why do you guys use it?
Hopefully, one of the things that you've heard throughout this event from my colleagues is that we really want to get to know who you are. We want your genuine and authentic self to shine through. We're curious about your passions, what makes you want to get continued level business education, and how are you considering applying it? So thinking about our first question, we're asking about your immediate and long-term goals, but we intentionally don't define immediate or long-term because this can be very different for students. We're not going to tie you or lock you down to career paths within whatever you put in this essay, but it gives our admissions reviewers and, once admitted, our career development team a sense of your goals, the types of partnerships and work that you are interested in doing. So the more we are able to learn from you, from your essays, going beyond some of the hard data and the numbers from your transcripts and test scores, which don't tell the full story, this is a really great opportunity to put your best foot forward and share something special about yourself that is going to make you a good fit for the management program that you're considering.
Yeah, I appreciate you kind of helping to define that, because I think it can be or explaining that it's sort of purposely open-ended. I think that's useful advice. And I do want to, while we're talking about all this, I want to ask you about the second essay too. So, this is a really interesting opportunity for candidates to share something about their background outside of class or outside of internships and things. But I wondered, do should candidates actually think about how that interest or whatever it is they're going to share might map to involvement at Booth, or is it just, oh, there's only 400 words, focus on what you've done, don't worry about telling us what you want to do here and how it relates or something?
We're literally really looking for you to craft a narrative. So some of my favorite responses to this question are students who can speak to a formative experience, how that has increased their knowledge level and their interest for continuing to study in this area, and then also how they are going to pay it forward. They're looking at Booth because they want to gain this type of development, use their background and experience, but also build out new skill sets by getting involved with clubs, organizations, research opportunities. So we want to see that you've gotten to know the school and the program, and that you're thinking about how your experience fits in to your next steps.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. That's great advice. Let's turn now to Grady at Fuqua. Grady, same thing. We've got a slide here. And I think we may have more than one slide actually, because I think you guys have two essays if memory serves. But so just tell us where you want us to go based on which one you want to speak to.
Yeah, so I talked a little bit about the 25 things already. Really, what we're trying to get to is get to know who you are as a person outside of the classroom and get a sense of why you believe, what makes you who you are and what makes you unique. So have fun with this. Ask family and friends. It's usually easy to get to around 15 to 17 facts about yourself. The other 10 or 7 of them are fairly challenging. So ask people, get advice, and have fun writing this one because it'll be something that you'll talk about later in the future. The next one I can talk about is essay 2, which talks a little bit about where you're going to be while you're here at Fuqua. So what things about the MMS program draw you in and what you hope to get involved in outside of the classroom. So attending events like this where we talk about different things that are going on at Fuqua, attending different virtual events or reading our website, the blogs, or talking to an alum or a current student, getting a sense of what they were involved in and what they thought they'd be involved in, what they were actually involved in, and then formulating some ideas of what you want to get involved in. And you can use examples of what you were involved in undergrad or community work that you did and use that to support why you're going to be involved here at Fuqua. So definitely do some research on what opportunities we have out there. And this just shows us that you're going to be an engaged community member, that you've thought about why you want to come to Fuqua, why the MMS program, and it'll give us a better sense of you as an applicant and that you are actually going to come and be an active member when you're here.
So just to sort of underline that, I was kind of curious about, so let's say, let's say I've been spending my summers doing some sort of, or even my entire undergraduate career doing some kind of, volunteer work, or I'm passionate about something, and that's easy to kind of map to involvement at Fuqua. But what if I'm also, I talk to a current student and I find out that there's a club about something that that I haven't yet engaged with, but that I'm kind of excited to just, dive into. Is it okay to speak to stuff where I don't have a track record, but I'm just raring to go and get involved in? And, I maybe have my reasons, but I don't have that sort of past experience to point to.
Absolutely. We'll see a good mix of that where people will say, I was involved in Habitat for Humanity and I want to be involved in Habitat for Humanity while I'm at Fuqua because I believe it gives back and so on and so forth. Where we see a lot of students mentioning what they hope to get involved in, and it could relate to their career or a specific interest that they have. So they may have not ever been part of a consulting club, but they want to be part of that when they're here. They might be really interested in the wine scene and be wanting to join the wine club, but have never had that opportunity in undergrad. So anything that speaks to you and you're interested in, feel free to put that in the essay, and that just shows that you've done your research and you've thought about where you want to grow and what opportunities excite you.
Okay, great. And yeah, thanks for chiming in a little bit on the first essay too. I recognize that that's great advice about asking your friends or family or coworkers to help you get from those 10 random facts or 15 to the 25 because yeah. And one fun fact for our audience that I know, this is kind of inside baseball stuff, but my understanding, Grady, is that your team in the admissions office, when a new team member joins, they have to fill this essay out and share it with the team as well. So you guys are really drinking the Kool-Aid on this essay, even
Yeah, yeah.
within your own team. Yeah.
We just had someone join last month and they had to write a 25 things. It's always really fun to get to know the people pretty quickly through that.
Yeah. Sounds like a fun exercise. All right, let's now turn our attention to Mary. Mary, yeah, tell us, yeah, take us through the essay and yeah, let us know why your team uses this and what you're looking for.
Sure, I'm happy to. So our essay topic, we only have one, and that is what are you passionate about and how do you want to enhance that passion with business skills? And I think, Graham, I'm going to give you credit for this. You kind of pointed this out to me last year, is that when we're asking about passions, we are really kind of talking about your career passion, like kind of, or what you're passionate about academically and where you want to go forward. If you love your cat or kayaking or you have a favorite sports team, that's awesome. We definitely want to get to know that about you too, but that's not what we want to see in this essay. What we really do want to see in this essay is that you've given some thought about, either your undergraduate studies, something that you know that you want to continue in, and that you see a clear alignment with going further to achieve your goals by getting this degree. That's really kind of what I would ask yourself is, why is this degree important to me? Why is the Emory Goizueta program the one that has the most things that will appeal to me and be the best fit for me? And try to bring that across in your essay. The one thing it doesn't ask you about is your specific career goals. Some of our students are really clear on where they think they want to go or what kind of role they want. Some students have got no idea what kind of roles even exist out there yet. And some students, maybe they studied one thing for the first 3 years of graduate or undergraduate and then realize, I don't really like this, or my parents made me major in this, and I really think I want to shift. And now I'm graduating, and now what do I do next? That's okay. That's what we're here to do, is help you figure that out. Use our program to help define where your interests are or take them further. But that's what we'd like to see bring across in your essay, is why you see a need for the program.
Okay, so one follow-up, and I just kind of want to push on this because I'm sure it's on people's minds, which is that, like you're saying, there's some candidates who know, they want to, I don't know, lead sustainability at a company or something, and they have a very specific kind of plan. But other people are still trying to figure it out. And so, any advice, like, what's something? I mean, could someone be sort of more generally passionate about, strategy or, leadership, and not yet know how they want to apply that in a specific industry, but they could still write about that. That would be okay. Like, you're not penalizing those who have those less, it's kind of more fuzzy goals, right?
Absolutely not. I think really what we are really looking for is, again, like a passion to learn, a passion to grow, a passion to even be open-minded to different opportunities. And that's, as I mentioned previously, our program is pretty custom tailored, and our career management, we have a dedicated career management person that works with our students to help them figure that out and articulate their path as they go forward through the program. I also want to add too, some of our students are entrepreneurs. We have a really strong emphasis on entrepreneurship. And so some students may, have a thought about what they want to develop in the future that they haven't actually done yet. So we always just like to see, again, where will this program help you go?
Okay, excellent. Appreciate you shedding some additional light on that. Let's turn to Danielle at Indiana Kelley. So Danielle, take us through, pick one of your essays and let us know, why you guys ask it, what you're looking for. Yeah, I'll give you the floor.
Great, thank you. Sorry, I had to move locations. I'm at the airport and people were boarding behind me, so I apologize.
It's okay.
What we're looking for during the application essay process is three things. One, what's the fit for the program? Does the candidate's background or mindset and aspirations align with the MSM program, the opportunities that we have, as well as the community? And then we're also looking for growth mindset. Our candidate's self-aware. So this really ties into essay number 2 of that self-awareness. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and because you're coming maybe potentially from a non-business background, self-awareness is incredibly important. And that's why we ask that in the question. Are they looking to develop in new areas? So maybe, I think Grady said it earlier, is, maybe they didn't have an opportunity to be a part of the consulting club, but they're passionate about that and they want to go into that field. It's all about understanding those wants and desires. And then lastly, what we're looking for is, a candidate's potential contributions to the classroom. We have a close-knit group of students in the program. And so we're looking for the value add that they can bring to their classmates, whether it's through prior experiences that a candidate has had, and then also embracing new challenges together, because there is a lot of team projects that students have to work on. We want to understand personalities and, most importantly, thinking about the intersectionality of somebody and what their passions are career-wise, personally. Maybe you're interested in photography. We have a student in the program right now that has a photography business. And she's like, I think I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm not sure. I don't know the business side of it. I want to explore that while coupling that with my photography passion. And so it's really important that when you're writing your essay, that you're writing more of a genuine, well thought out response, rather than thinking what we want to hear and that right answer, because that's going to get lost. And then lastly, we asked this question too to tailor it to you. We know generative AI is the rage. And so sometimes candidates will use that and they lose their voice. And so we purposely asked this question so that we can get to understand your voice and make sure that correlates as well when it comes to the interview process too.
Yeah, great advice. I think that AI is, as you say, all the rage, and it can be useful for brainstorming or even like helping you to read something and help with grammar or whatever. But
Yeah.
but boy, yeah, it's really easy to lose your voice when you over rely on it. So,
Mhm.
I did want to ask you a follow up. So, this first essay question described the key skills and competencies. So, I wondered, like, it's easy to say, well, I want to work in banking or I want to work in finance, and so I want to take finance and learn how to calculate a net present value or something very specific and kind of tactical. But I also kind of was just wondering, like, can people write about more broad brushstroke stuff like leadership training and development? Or, I mean, we've been hearing this theme from all of you today about the teams that people are put into and the kind of working with your classmates, which in of itself is probably really instructive. But so what is there any kind of balance here that's needed, or they, whatever someone's moved to sort of talk about here in terms of the learning?
It could be honestly a little bit of both. If they have leadership development goals and that's what they want to do, and maybe they want to go in a rotational management program after they graduate, that's important to highlight. We do a lot of self-discovery. We have a week-long management launch class that students have to take, which is exploring those key skills and competencies that students talk about or not sure if that's truly what they want to do. So this program is truly about self-discovery and just knowing a little bit about yourself and sharing those in the essay helps us better understand and better prepare you for why you're in the program from a curriculum standpoint, but also from a professional development. We'll do a lot of different workshops like on Cliff Strengths Finders, imposter syndrome, maybe you're feeling that way. And so we're picking all these up during the application process, and then we're tailoring it to what we're seeing throughout the year for the students.
Got it. All right. Thanks for elaborating on that. Let's now go. Shai, you've been really patient. I know it's hard because for some reason L is at the end of the alphabet with this group of schools, which is kind of amazing in of itself. But you've been very patient. So the assignment here is just pick one of your essays and tell us why your team asked this question and what you're kind of looking for when you're reading a response to it.
And my name is, the initial is XYZ, so I'm literally
That's
just
true.
waiting.
You're always in trouble. Yeah, at the bottom of the alphabet. Yeah.
Yes, no problem. I think I'll probably, I think the essays are quite similar altogether. I would say probably the first essay is about how you're gonna really impact the community. So relate back to what I have shared before, that how much we value the community, and we really want the candidates to go into depth into what they have know about the community, where do they see, what can they bring. So we do believe they have as much to learn as to to give back to the community as well. The peer learning is absolutely vital at London Business School. So for both questions, we almost wanted to act as a prompt for them at the beginning of their research process. So we always encourage people to look at the application early and then do the research according to the information they need to know. So if they look at a question, don't know much about the community, then that gives them the cue almost to how do you get to know about the school and the program. So website is always a good resource. We highly recommend to talk to the student ambassadors, alumni. We pride ourselves on community. So actually the response you get when you reach out to the community is unparalleled. So a lot of people will understand truly firsthand when they do the research in itself. And then also just to come to campus, join our events. So by the time they submit the application, if they have not done anything about it or show any in-depth knowledge, that means the research has not yet complete. So I think that's kind of the sequence that we really encourage them to do this work and then decide, yes, LBS is still something we want to go for, and come back and fill in that application. So yeah, so it shouldn't be that they prepared everything, they pile up all the materials and they click open the application form and to finish it in one go. Yes, and I completely agree with Danielle as well. No ChatGPT, please.
Yeah. So I think you're making a really good point, which is that this first essay, you need to do your homework first. Talk to people in the LBS community. I want to ask you a follow-on question about the second essay, which is kind of a career goals essay, but there's one line in here that kind of jumped out at me that I wanted to see if you could elaborate on. And that's this line where it talks about a profound impact that you are looking to make as you embark on your career. And I was thinking back to some of what we've been talking about today, which is, these are pre-experience programs. Our audience today are largely undergrads. And so what do you say to an undergrad who's like, wow, I don't really know yet what profound impact, like that might feel daunting to someone. So how would you just give someone advice to approach that aspect of this?
Yeah, thank you. That's definitely a good question. And that is actually, this question is set to in line with our vision of the school, is to have a profound impact of the business world, the way the world does business and the business impacts the world. And so it really is to start cultivate that spirit early on. So that's why in this question, we kind of ask their immediate goals as much as their long-term goals as well. So they're not really thinking about the program as a transactional experience. So any programs, I would say, probably in this panel, we wouldn't say this is only like an in and out experience. You come in, help you get your first job, and then you're out. You never contact the school again. Absolutely not. I think the program really will change you up, gives you all the skills, widen your perspectives, but the network and the network you have built throughout this period will carry you through for the rest of your life, and the impact will probably only show 3, 5, 10 years after you graduate. So I think it's to give them the mindset that you're not leader yet, but what kind of leadership potential you can start thinking about in your professional goals. If you're looking at one goal, most of them will say probably like consulting and banking, then another challenge would be, how does that fit into your long-term goal, and whether that makes sense for you as a person. Because a common pitfall for the student is they come and write a job that sounds fancy, glamorous, and they think this sounds professional and they will please the eyes of the admissions committee, but actually they hide their inner self. And I've talked to students who wants to start a shoe brand, but said, oh, I want to work in consulting at McKinsey. And I asked her, how does that translate to that? And he's like, actually, I really do care about shoes. I'm like, say that then. So it really is about bring out your long-term plan and then reversely check your immediate plans, that how that links to your long-term development. And so the profoundness only starts one step at a time, but it really is something authentic to you.
Okay. Yeah. So a recurring theme here is this, need for authenticity and to really
Mm.
share, what it is you're trying to accomplish. Because as I can attest, admissions readers know when you're just kind of giving them what you think they want to hear. And one thing I also want to just comment on that I thought was really interesting is this idea that this isn't a transaction. You'll just go for a year and you're done. And I can attest to that. I did a business degree many years ago, and I continue to be active with my local alumni club. I mean, it's a lifelong journey, and friendships, but also networking and career opportunities and things. So, great point. We're going to do one more thing before we wrap up. We just have a couple of minutes, but we have some kind of fun questions, if memory serves, on the next slide. So yeah, here we go. So, and actually, just in fairness, let's go backwards through the alphabet. So we'll start with London Business School. So Shia, just tell us what's your favorite secret spot on campus at LBS?
Oh my God. What is that? Well, we are the campus itself is a jewel at the crown in London, which subjectively, biasly, I think is the greatest city in the world. And so it is located right next to Regent's Park, one of the royal parks, really beautiful. And we have a very modern building modeled from the Marylebone Town Hall, and we have the old pristine kind of picture perfect Victorian Edwardian front as well, which is opened by, I think, the royal princess herself. So this campus is unparalleled, it's centrally located, and it's on Baker Street, so where Sherlock Holmes allegedly lived. So if you come to the campus, you actually walk through Sherlock Holmes Museum, but as a local, you will be contemptuous against them and thinking, well, never go in, but secretly you will. So I think the campus itself is really, really beautiful.
Okay. All right. So now we're going backwards. So Danielle, what's your favorite spot on the Indiana Kelley campus?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at Lynn a little bit because I know she probably has a lot of secret spots that she preferred when she was a student at IU. But I think one that's iconic are the sample gates. It's at the intersection of Bloomington campus. It has all the visitors, and it's just picturesque. No matter what season, what time of year, people are walking and coming and going. And it's just very peaceful. Even despite the foot traffic, it is still, you feel like you're part of the Bloomington community.
Yeah, and Bloomington is kind of a quintessential college town. So, yeah,
It is.
That's a nice spot.
Yeah, and all the buildings are limestone, except two. Two are brick, so there's a little history behind that. But yeah, limestone is huge here.
Excellent. All right, Mary, how about you? So at Emory, is there a spot that you like to go to on campus that you want to share with us?
Sure. It's not really a secret. It's really kind of, I would say, almost like the heart of the lawn in front of our business school. There's two buildings that comprise the business school, and there's a beautiful lawn right in front. And there's all these great Adirondack chairs and tables with umbrellas. And there's a coffee shop right there. And it's just a really wonderful place to go. And you see students in between classes hanging out with friends. Some of them are sitting at tables, just doing their work in the sunshine. And then a lot of times when I'm leaving work, especially on Thursdays, there's an area gathering spot where we have an event called Kegs, which is Keeping Emory Grad Social. So I'll just hear music coming up and people laughing, and it's just a happy space. I think that's what I really like, is just that whole area on the lawn where people can connect.
Got it. And I'm guessing the weather there is usually quite nice too. It's been brutal here in Paris this year, so I'm thinking about sunshine in the south of the U.S. All right, let's go to Grady at Duke. What about you? A favorite secret spot on campus?
Yeah, probably again not a secret spot, but the Duke Gardens are beautiful. They have a lot of different seasons that come around and different flowers and plants that are blooming. So we're coming up on the cherry blossom season in a few weeks, which is always really exciting to see those come out.
Excellent. All right. Wynn, last but not least, do you want to share a spot that you like at Booth?
Yeah, our students are going to take campuses on both our Gleacher Center in the downtown campus and at the Harbor Center on our Hyde Park campus. So the Gleacher Center is right here behind me in my photo. And what you can't tell is that just south of us. Our building is right on the Chicago River. So my favorite spots, depending on the weather, are either to go up to the 5th floor of the Bleacher Center to our Midway Club, where I can sit with a nice view looking out on the river and the river walk. Or if it's nice enough, I'm going to leave the building and wander along the river walk. Yeah, definitely a beautiful attraction. Our campus is definitely one of the best places to just kind of be and study and take advantage of the whole city of Chicago as your classroom.
Excellent. Yeah, I know that spot well. So yeah, great to be down on the river there. So I want to say thank you to all of our panelists for indulging us in that silly question, but it's just kind of fun to get a feel for for where you like to be on campus. What we've done here is we put together a little slide with upcoming deadlines. And so most of you have a couple upcoming, but we have them all on screen here. If you're an undergrad, you still have time if you're a senior to get applications together. And I will attest that, most applications come in fairly late in the cycle. That's kind of customary for college students, unlike, say, MBA applicants who are applying in like October for the following year. So there's still time. And yeah, just want to encourage you to, connect with our panelists and go to the websites, find out more to get your applications together. But sincere thanks to Wynn and Grady and Mary and Danielle and Shaya. Really appreciate you all making time today. And also to our audience for making time to join us these past couple of weeks as we've talked about Masters in Management. Stay tuned to the ClearAdmit website with lots of resources and continued just good content about applying to business school and more content about Masters in Management too. So really appreciate everyone's time today. And yeah, it's just been great connecting and hearing all of your insights.
Thanks for having us, Graham.
Thank you so much.
Graham. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. All right, that'll be a wrap. Stay tuned to clearadmit.com for more events, and we'll see you all soon.